Not the best start to the trip. I need to be right over there, right on the other side. Well, actually, it's a little ways down, but I'm gonna have to find my way around. I know there's a way around. It was the same thing happened last year. I was with my brother, and he had the smartphone with the GPS and all that, and was able to get me around. But I'll have to try and wing it now. So I'll get back with you when I get to the woods. And we're here. Um, my plan is to head off in that direction. I'm going to cut back behind the pond, looking online, and I learned my lesson last time. That's not always accurate, but looking online, there's a trail that goes back and connects to some power lines, which is what I tried to do last time. I'm gonna try and take the power line down, uh, back that way towards the river. So we'll have to see how she goes. Okay, here's a map. Now we came down through here, somewhere around here. There's a road that cuts through, and we're going down to this pond. And like I said, I'm going to cut back. There's a trail that's supposed to intersect power lines that'll come down to the water, theoretically, hopefully. So that's what we're looking at. Um, Last time I put in around here, came all through this, got turned around somehow, came out here. It was probably farther down, came out around here, then came down. Oh, I'm not even on the screen. Came through here, came down, and then I cut in along the water. So, and here we are coming down to the pond. Not a far walk. I mean, it's right at the top of the hill on down. Now, got to go around it, and looking on the map, I planned on just going over here, going down and around it, and then cutting through. Look on the map, it looks like there's supposed to be a creek over there, so we'll have to see how it is to cross. Looks like someone's down here, there's a fire burning, so we'll see what's up. Okay, I don't want to speak too soon, but this looks like it might be an easier go than I even thought. Looks like there's a road that goes, I think it's a horse trail that goes up. And the creek, there's a pipe there, and it spills over, and there's like a kind of an overflow right through here, I guess. So, no water crossings right now, and might be a real easy, gentle walk up there. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up some of this dry stuff while I see it. You don't know what you're going to find where you stop to camp, and it's, a basic thing where you just, as you find it, grab it, because it might not be there later. So I'll gather this up and then get back on the road. Well, I didn't find the power lines, and I kind of traveled far enough that I know I should have intersected them. I'm beginning to wonder if them things are just on Google Maps and not actually on the world. Anyhow, I followed the road quite a ways, and I got concerned that I was actually circling back. So what I've done is I cut off into the woods, and there's a wash here that I'm following down, hoping that'll take me to the river. I don't have a ton of water as I plan to purify. There is some water down in there. It's probably not the best, and I'll definitely have to filter that and then boil it before I drink that. But if push comes to shove, I do have something here. So we'll keep on keeping on. Now that wash is turning into more of a, it's got more of a trickle to it. We've actually got moving water now, so I'll take that as a good sign. And if I don't come across the river, in case you hadn't seen me point with the fishing pole and all, I was hoping to do some fishing, but if we don't come across the river, Yeah, this ground isn't too bad. There's some semi-flat areas, plenty of wood around. I can always camp here. Now, one thing I will say, I had planned on eating lunch at camp. Planned on getting here earlier. Didn't think I would have as much trouble finding the place. So I had brought food that needs cooking. And I can stop and do it. I have my little stove, but it's one I wanted to do a video for also, to where it's a recipe. I was going to actually record it and do it as a separate video. So I don't quite want to stop and do it right now. I kind of want to do it when I had camp and I could set it up. We'll just have to wait. We'll have to make that call. I'm not terribly hungry as of yet. So, not being that hungry makes it so, yeah, okay, I can go on. But this is looking good. It looks like it's got some potential. All right. I don't know that they'll show up, but there's plenty of minnows down in there, and there's actually some sizable ones that kind of screwed underneath the bank for the most part when I stopped to look. But hopefully they come out. There's stuff in here. Well, that indicates to me that this will flow to a larger body of water. Now, here's where I wish I knew a little more about edible plants. I've got these things here, and they look like some kind of lettuce or something. I don't really know what they are. But it'd be interesting to find out if they were edible. And something I could collect. I've seen them in other places, but I'm just not too sure about them. And of course, if you're not sure, you don't touch it. Kind of goes without saying, I would hope. But if somebody knows what these are, let me know, and maybe I can identify them in the future. Now, I've been following this, turning into almost a creek for quite a ways, and we're getting to an area that's really getting hard to get through. It's not that it's not, it's not that it's that bad, but when you're carrying your pack, and then I tripped a while back jumping across the creek, and it tweaked my back a little bit, so now I got to be extra careful. Looks like there's a tree right there of some kind that could be used for something. I don't think it's birch. It looks like it's got some kind of papery bark, though. It might be birch. I don't know. I'll go over and take a look at it. Okay, it looks very much like I found some birch. So many things bug flying around, but yeah, that's neat. I see a lot more smooth with everyone, but let's just cut a little piece here. Maybe not. Might have to put the camera down to do this. I don't know. I'll grab a couple pieces and save them, and I'll play with them a little bit. It looks like it caught fire. I hope that comes through, but there's blackened spots all up there. There's some right here too. I don't know how bad the glare is, and it actually goes down to the bottom of the tree. And I found evidence of fire here and there. I don't know if it's people having fires or if it's just little wildfires that didn't go very far or what, because some of them seem kind of widespread. It could have been someone dispersing their fire. But I think I'm going to scout ahead a little bit. I'll leave my pack where it is and take a look. See if I can't find a clearer route. I'm glad I came ahead and scouted. Comes a time when a man just got to go, you know what? It's time to turn around. In case you can't see, that is a whole mess of brambles. Well, I want to get to the river. I don't want to get there that bad. Up on that side, it's a very dense and it's awful harsh terrain. So I'm going to go back, and I think I'm going to go back up to the truck and follow what I had planned, an alternate plan I'd done where if I couldn't get to the river, I was going to drive to another spot, walk along the road, find the thumping power lines, and walk the power line from there. Since it's getting late, it's getting close to 3, it'll probably be closer to 4 by the time I get back. We'll have to play that by ear. Alright. Ooh, that was a hike back. We're back out to the road. I don't know what these roads are. Access for caretakers. They got little plots of land they farm throughout here. Ooh, should have waited till I caught my breath, because I hightailed it back up here. So we're going to go back. Now, this is an area I'm unfamiliar with, and I did not bring a compass. I know. Big dummy. Alright, but something that I do when I'm in an area like this, and especially, I started out a little bit after 12, so the sun was slightly off at an angle, and I paid attention to where my shadow was. I said, okay, going in and going to the river, I need the shadow to be on the right side of me or going behind me. Now to go back, what do? Put my shadow on my left side and face into the sun. And as long as I'm generally doing that, I mean, I'm following roads for the most part, but as long as I'm generally doing that, I have a fair to middling idea of what direction I'm going in. So, just always pay attention to little things like that, and you'll be alright. Hey Texans, how many of y'all drink out of that muddy hoof print? Alright, just throwing back to John Wayne. True grit. So, I ain't hating on nobody from Texas. My wife's from Texas. Alright. Well, person on horseback was kind enough to give me directions, and I think she was a bit confused herself. I have walked in a big circle, and I've taken a lot of detours through the woods trying to cut down and see the river. But if you can see kind of a shiny object over there, there's one and there's another one. I can't quite see where they are in the camera. Yeah, right there's one. There's the other one, I think. That's the back of my truck. I went way out and way down and around, and like I said, I went through the woods here and there, and very frustrating, If somebody out there watching this has a good map with the roads marked out of Phelps, or knows where to get a good map, a reliable map of the roads marked out, please help. I've been here a couple times, and I have had a hard time navigating this area. Part of my problem is, like I said earlier, don't bring a compass. Hopefully noise wind isn't too bad. Wind noise, yeah, I'm getting tired. But yeah, it's really going to have to stop and rethink this area. At least do some figuring on where things are. Okay, nearest I can figure, I was parked over here. I came down to the bottom of the pond, followed, it looks like there's a trail here, I followed it out. I hit this trail, came around, I hit, this is I think where I picked up that creek at. Followed the creek down and it became impassable. And it looks like I was pretty dang close, by guess, I was pretty dang close to the river. Maybe that's why it was so overgrown with all the brambles. I came back up, and I actually came out here. When I came back up, I came up at this intersection, and I don't know if this is showing up or not, but at this intersection is where, now this is all best guesstimate, where I met the lady with the horse, and she said, oh, follow this trail back, go down. And she said, you're going to cross a bridge. So when you cross a bridge, veer over to the right. So I came in, I crossed the bridge, came up this, and I veered up to the right, which is a little dotted trail, and brought me back in behind. So I did a nice big loop. And then there was a couple spots where I had to guess it was along this road where I veered off into the woods here and there trying to see. Now sometimes it wasn't very far, and some of these places it's just like a clear cut, and you go down it and it just stops. You know, and so. But now I'm going to go back up. I'm going to come to this parking lot here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive past it because I think the power line should be here, and I think that's what this white line is. There's a real faint. So I'm going to drive past it, see if I see the power lines, turn around and come back. Worst case scenario, I can always go back to here. This is kind of the handicapped area, but it's a real nice area. And, oh, actually, it looks like I could even come over here and come in. You know what, I might even do that. That looks flat. That looks fairly level terrain. I think we'll check that out. We're going to check that out. So, and I'm in the main area right now. I'm over in here by that pond. I gotta go back out to the road. The road will follow down and around, come over. You gotta cross Kelly's Ford, and I think that Kelly's Ford, that road is right along the edge of that, and we'll come back up. Alright, well, I'm heading in. This side of the track, I'm a ways in. My hopes aren't real high. The ground is just mucky. Doesn't look like there's going to be any place to set up a tent. I could do this if I had a hammock. And I've thought about buying one. I just don't know. I'm a side sleeper big time. I just don't know about getting one to sleep on. But I mean, it's beautiful woods. And yeah, I might be able to find a place somewhere in there to set a tent up, but I'm just not willing to tear up the area that much. You can see the river through the trees here. So we'll go down closer and see if there's any clearings down there. Sometimes people clear out areas, but this is a very swampy section, you know. That's the trail through all that. We'll see if we can go around it. Yeah. Man, I like these boulders. I mean, you can just imagine the things that have happened here. So this might just turn out to be a big long hike, which I'm not complaining. It's been a beautiful hike, and you know, if I go home, then I'll probably set up in the backyard and fix my dinner that I'd planned to bring along. And then tomorrow I'll do the cooking video that I mentioned earlier, you know, mentioned in the beginning of this video, where I've got kind of a recipe to show y'all. It's a real simple, real easy, very filling meal. Looks like this kind of bypasses here. And yep, we're going back up on the trail. So, I mean, obviously plenty of people have been through here since that's happened. There's a trail going. I just don't see any area that'll accommodate my tent without me having to really tear things up. Oh, looks pretty good coming onto the water. Got all those flowers, those bluebells and all. So I will drop my pack here and take a look around. There's a couple paths going off in either direction, going that way also. Alright, my battery died kind of mid-sentence there. This looks like a good area to fish from. It's a plane flying. He came awful low over the treetops over on top of me. I guess there's something here. Look, there's a huge tree. Let's see if I can zoom in. Okay, zoom in sucks. There's a huge tree out on that log there, or I mean out on that boulder. It's just crazy to think of the storm that must have happened to allow that to float down and then get lodged there. Over on that boulder, there's a big log, and it looks in the middle like it's been burned. So I don't know if somebody really got adventurous and went out there. I doubt it. It's probably got washed down from something. So time to have a look around and see if I can't find a place to set up camp. I found a beautiful area for camp. You know, I could set it up in here somewhere, but there's a couple problems. You might be able to see it in the video. Somebody has so curiously thrown out glass on the ground. So who knows what kind of lacerations I might wake up with over there. And you see that dead log there? Guess what it's full of? Yep, you got it. Bees. And I am allergic to bees. So while this will be a beautiful spot, I mean, it's even got that little roll right there. It'll be a great place to fill up my filter. You know, with that running water like that, I could easily fill my squeeze bag. And in fact, there'd probably be some good fishing right down through there. And this is just down from where I went. Ooh, something startled me. I don't know what it was, but it jumped from up in the tree down into the water. I guess a frog. But I was just, you can sort of see the boulder. I was just right over there. So there's another big tree on the boulder. Let's keep looking. Oh, the advantages of continuing to look. This is obviously an established spot. I doubt anyone slept here. There's more glass on the ground. But obviously someone's had a good time here. I mean, it's a nice little fire setup. I have this, I'm guessing a feeder creek. Pretty neat. There's almost looked like some kind of dam at some point was there. Just a big pile of rocks. It's a beautiful spot. The glass makes me a little bit nervous. Don't even got a chair set up for me. So let me take a better look at this spot, and what I might be able to do, depending on how clear it is set my tent right in here. And then just kind of hang out over here. All right. I'll tell you, that plane is just going circles, and that's very annoying. Clearing off debris, getting the sticks out of the way. Don't have a huge tent. Like stuff's from the past. It's from Target. It's a cheap one. Embark. It's a 2-man tent, and it has a lot of room in it. Just want to get all these sticks out of here. You know, it don't matter what quality tent you have, stick will go through them, and sometimes those lighter weight ones will go through easier. That ought to be a big enough area. Well, this area ain't no good neither. The guy just came by and said that this was private property that I was on. I'd already come off the Phelps land, which, from looking at the map, it looked like the Phelps extended way down this way. But I can't prove it, and it's too late to be trying to go to another spot if it's already after 5. So he said I could hang out here for a few minutes. I told him, I explained to him the whole ordeal I've been going through, and he told me that, you know, okay, well, you're cool to rest for a little bit, he said, but stop setting up your tent and move on. You know, so once again, I'll have to do more research, and I'll have to look at that and see if this is a guy who just kind of wanted this spot to himself, or if this is a true thing, because looking at the map, it looked like Phelps went a good long ways that way. Then again, looking across the water, I can see all kinds of signs that look like no trespassing signs. I don't know if they come up, but it's the white on the trees out there, and that's that big log I talked to you about. So once again, if somebody's familiar with this area and they know this site, it's the one, there's a huge tree in the middle of the river. If they know this site and they know, hey, you know what, that guy's just messing with you or whatever, then let me know, because this, man, this was just a gorgeous site. I mean, set up so well already. I don't know how firewood situation would have been. You know, and as people who get out there can tell you, just because you're in the woods does not mean that there's firewood around. You know, especially in an area like this, it could have been all burned up. So I'm debating. I don't want to press my luck if the guy's telling the truth, but I'm debating. I haven't eaten it yet today. I ate at breakfast and I ate a small handful of trail mix that I brought along. But I'm debating if I can go ahead and at least eat. It's probably best that I just head on home. So, but man, I got out here. I got out in the woods. You know, I was really looking forward to spending the night, especially as, I mean, we're right on the water. Looks like the fishing could have been fantastic here too. You know, I haven't fished this section. I've never been in this section before. Even when I go in my canoe, because I'll launch my canoe and go down the river with my family. We go downriver from Kelly's Ford. There's a place you can take in, and we'll canoe down that. You know, we've never gone upriver. A little bit past where you let in, there's some real rough area that it's like, you know, I don't want to fight upriver plus try and go over these. You know, it's almost like a tiny waterfall. It's just, and my wife isn't a good swimmer, neither's my son. You know, they can, but they're not real good at it. To get them out and have to portage the canoe is just not practical. But anyhow, that's a whole nother story. In case you couldn't tell, I'm a little bit upset. You Yeah, it's one of those deals where you win all this, and I did a lot of hiking today. You know, I've been, aside from a little drive over to this area, I've been hiking for probably about 4 hours. You know, I've taken a few breaks here and there. And now, granted, I was going slow when I would cut down through the woods, but you know, it's been a good amount of hiking. I'm surprised I'm not starving at this point. You know, but hey, trail mix is a wonderful thing. You know, there's a reason it's a staple. It fills people up. So whatever you do, make sure you have something like that along. And mine's just a cheap one from Aldi's, and it just had dried cranberries, raisins, peanuts, almonds, some like chocolate chips, and I threw in a couple little Cadbury mini chocolate eggs that have that kind of crispy, kind of like a M&M, but like a pastel type thing. I don't know. Anyhow, maybe I'll at least cast my line so I can at least say I got my line wet. All right. I'm gonna tell you, this walk back, even though it's not a very long walk, I've been going for long enough today that I'm tired. And the fact that I know that I'm now walking back just to go home instead of to find another spot, it's too late to find another spot. Not unless I just plop down around here, which you might could find someplace decent. I don't know, it's a very tedious end to the journey. So it's not that far of a walk though, and we'll get back, stop at the truck. I'll debate on whether or not to cook up something. I have my little camp stove with me. I can always cook up a quick little meal, or just head on home. You know, unfortunately, that's what you go through, especially if you come out and you're not wholly prepared for. There's that stupid plane again. That thing is right over the trees. You gotta be careful. You're gonna clip a wing. But yeah, you know, I mean, if you go out unprepared, and you know, I tried to do my research where I looked online, and I went through this before, where it's just not real accurate. The roads just don't show up right, you know, or maybe I'm just misreading it. So, like I said, next time I do this trip, it's going to be really planned out. I mean, I'm going to try and contact the park authority and see if they have a semi-accurate map, one with at least landmarks and such, because even though you can see some of the roads on some of the maps, it's almost an arbitrary line. You know, there's no rhyme or reason. There's not, you know, they just know that, okay, somewhere about here there's a road. And it goes to around about here. Anyhow, I think that's going to be it for this video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'm sorry it wasn't a camping video. You know, but stick around. There's more to come. Alright, and looking at the map, it's entirely possible the guy was telling the truth, because I was parked here, I came in, and I cut out this way, and there was that big feeder creek, and I'm not sure if that runs along here, if it's farther down, so it doesn't really show up on this map. If it was farther down, it's entirely possible I had gone off the property. It doesn't seem like it was that far, though.